Hello, my name is Taylor. I'm here with,
Aiden.
we are TobbiCo-Host. We specialize in maximizing your Airbnb revenue and taking all of the busy day-to-day tasks out of management. Today we're going to talk about a really important topic, and that is how to manage an Airbnb completely remotely in 2025. And we're talking purchase, getting it ready, having it live, getting the cleaners in there, everything. How do you accomplish this remotely in 2025? Let's get right into it. The theme of this video is going to be relationships. We're going to be bringing this word up a lot because at the end of the day, you absolutely can leverage technology and relationships and manage an Airbnb remotely more than ever before. But the most important thing at the end of the day is to create rock solid, incredible vetted relationships with individuals in that market. First off, starting with the purchase of the home, what you want to do is first you want to make sure that the property pencils, that it is in a good market, that it's a market that you have an interest in. You should care about the market you're buying in. And lastly, it should be somewhat feasible for you to be able to get employees, as in cleaners, maintenance people, inspectors, that sort of thing. So once you've checked those boxes, connect with a local realtor in that market to help you show the house, do virtual tours, and write an offer. Once you have written that offer and closed, what you want to do is start finding a rock solid cleaner. They're going to be the backbone of your business. Aiden has created an amazing tool, which we'll put in the description, for you to find cleaners in almost every market around the country. And that's really important. I'm going to let Aiden talk a little bit more about the cleaners and how to find them, why it's important, and what they can really do for you when trying to run a Airbnb business remotely.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, I think managing your cleaning team is one of the highly important components to managing a Airbnb virtually in 2025. It's important to have good relationships with these people. Like Taylor said, that word relationships is really important. And above all, it's just important to find and vet a really solid cleaner. It's straightforward. Finding a cleaner is pretty easy. What we did is we simply went on Google and we made sure these cleaners' past experiences aligned with what we needed them to do. So we just went on Google for our town and we found a cleaner who specialized in short-term rentals and Airbnbs. The next thing we did was we set up a test clean. We didn't even bring up that this was an Airbnb, that this was a short-term rental until we saw like, okay, they can clean up to our standard. So once the test clean was out of the way, we saw that we really liked and could work with this cleaner. We moved forward with them and developed a cadence, and now that's what we use to clean our Airbnb regularly. And so Taylor mentioned a database that we created. We'll link this in the bio, but if you're having any issues with finding a good and vetted cleaner for your city, you can access this database completely for free. It has thousands of the top cleaners who specialize in short-term rentals across the U.S. So you can simply filter by your city and call the cleaner in that database. And if it works for you, great. We'd love to hear about it. Put those in the comments. So Taylor, I know cleaning is incredibly important when it comes to managing an Airbnb remotely. How do you see pricing playing into all this?
Pricing is extremely important. And luckily, with the technology that we have at our fingertips, it's something, again, you can do remotely without living in that market, because what you're going to do is you're going to use data that's proven to show you what the market price is for your cabin, for your property, and how to best price for your Airbnb. Um, it kind of leads me into my next point, and that is kind of, should you go the route of completely doing this on your own, or should you connect with a remote co-hosting company who specializes in maximizing your revenue, taking care of all of the busy logistical work for a reasonable fee? And now, That question should be answered by, at the end of the day, your personal goals and what you want to accomplish. If you're somebody who's very hands-on, this is your passion, you want to be involved in everything and you have the time to do it, I would recommend just doing it yourself. I would recommend reaching out to cleaners, using our software to get those cleaners, reaching out to maintenance people, and ultimately those people, your maintenance and your cleaners, they're going to be your boots on the ground people that are going to run the day to day of your Airbnb. And then leverage the Airbnb platform to create some automations for you and do this thing ultimately remotely. However, if you're someone who starts to get overwhelmed at all of the things necessary to ultimately maximize your profit, to maximize your ability to reach your Airbnb's full potential, and you're very busy, I strongly recommend going with a co host that can come in and take care of everything for you. Now, co-hosting is actually something that's relatively new with Airbnb. It's something that Airbnb as a business has created and leaned into because what it does is it creates an opportunity for an Airbnb owner like yourself to connect with a co-hosting agency that they live and breathe this business. They know what they're doing, and they can get you up to speed and optimized and do the pricing, and they can do all that stuff for you and make you a lot of money and take that stress off your hands. That's what we do at TobbiCo-Host. But ultimately, it is up to you. It's up to your goals. It's up to what you want. There is no right answer. So that kind of touches on that. And Aiden, I want to hear your thoughts on, the co-hosting versus the self-managing, and how do the owners manage the maintenance remotely?
Mm-hmm.
All of the messy, day-to-day stuff. How do people do that remotely?
I think if you're managing an Airbnb in your own city, a co-host isn't as necessary. But if you're managing an Airbnb remotely in a different city, or if you're managing an Airbnb in a mountain town 3 hours away, I think in those instances where there's a lot of distance between you and the property you're managing, a co-host can be really helpful because they can take away a lot of the headache of managing the day-to-day operations of an Airbnb. So when it comes to managing an Airbnb remotely, I'm a fan of co-hosts. I think it's great, especially if you find a co-host who you work well with and who's aligned with your goals. I think a co-host is the way to go when managing an Airbnb remotely.
Yep, I think I agree. So that largely touches on how to manage a Airbnb remotely. Really, it's going to come down to your ability to secure relationships. You need
Mm-hmm.
to find great cleaners. You need to find a good maintenance person that's going to charge a reasonable fee. And then you ultimately need to understand all of the technologies necessary to get you up to speed, to automate things for you, to get you the best reviews. There's a lot of tools out there, there's a lot of stuff, more so than ever before. So, this is how you need to go about getting a remote property in 2025. It's very doable, it's very possible. We have people that do it all over the place. That's going to wrap it up for me. Aiden, what other thoughts do you have on this topic?
I think that pretty much sums it up. The one other thing I will add is if you're managing an Airbnb remotely and you're working with a cleaning team, it's always important to have a checklist that's specific to your property. That way, you know your cleaner is not skipping any steps and knows exactly what to do every time they visit your property.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. This is a quick video. I just wanted to hop on here with Aiden and talk a little bit about this. We've had a lot of questions lately. Again, this is Taylor and Aiden with TobbiCo-Host. Go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be putting out a ton more content just like this. We're giving out a lot of free value for Airbnb and short-term rentals in 2025. So go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. But thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys.